Alright. So, the point is just talking about the various house rules that we have. Like, start with the big one, the stats.
What about them?
The fact that everyone has really, really ridiculous stats. Like, if you roll for stats, you shouldn't get over like a 15 or so.
Well, yes, but when it comes to rolling stats, it's just random. It doesn't mean anything, honestly.
I mean, yeah.
So it's better to be, I don't know, tied to the backstory.
Well, yes, but if anyone looks at our stats, they'd say, oh, you just want your players to be really overpowered, which I totally get. Like, right, some of them have fucking 26. Well, only one person has 26 and one stat. But you get my point. That same person, though, has shit for stats everywhere else. Well, almost everywhere else. Con need that not apply, but eh. Nah, that seems kind of pointless, right? Oh, a barbarian with a ton of strength and con below everything else. Big whoop, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is that to me it doesn't matter that he's got high con, high health, high strength. I can just give him an enemy that abuses his other stats. Nothing stops me from doing that. That's the big one that lots of people love to forget. You as a DM are supposed to adjust the encounter to whatever stats your players have and their skill level as well.
That's literally what I was just about to say.
Yeah.
That you, as a DM, you are supposed to know your players' characters and, well, literally make encounters that are challenging for those specific characters and then include every member of the party to help.
You laughing because I'm having a little bit of trouble here? Yeah, I haven't played Ring Runner in a while. Good long while.
Well, that's what you get. You're getting rusty.
Yep. Thankfully I have Sage Surge here. I don't give a shit. Damn thing has like no fucking cooldown. Ring Runner, Flight of the Sages. Check it out on Steam. I'm not sponsored by them. I just like the game.
Shut up, Odin.
It's the truth. I fucking like this shit.
Good for you.
And away you go. Come on, go away. Go away. I make you go away with my laser. Alright, so now I guess I have to explain as to why we use people's backstory to set up their stats. And, I'm certain that's pretty easy to figure out. You know, you have a backstory that fits your stats, but then, no, what stops someone from abusing the shit out of that? Well, it's pretty simple. My judgment as a DM, or in some cases, your judgment as my wonderful husband and co-DM.
Uh-huh. But hey, something that I heard a while ago, it's okay to have a, what is it? Power-hungry party?
Power hungry? You mean overpowered?
It's mostly people wanting to be powerful and all that.
Ah, yes. It's very okay for a bunch of reasons, as long as you don't go with a numbers campaign. If you have a campaign that's very heavily focused on builds, then if you did what we do, you'd be a piece of shit to your players, actually.
Yes. No, but it was more what is it? The sense that it's fine if everyone is powerful, not just one person.
Yes. A big thing that it allows me to do, though, is give you guys those otherwise downright impossible fucking encounters. Like, Jesus Christ, I gave you guys all of those, gelatinous cubes that would have just obliterated you if you were a normal party.
In the words of a fantastic person in the business, that's called foreshadowing.
Yes. Should we talk about our previous long campaign? Or even the previous campaign that was run by me that we had, what, 3 player characters die?
Which one?
I was...
the seafaring one.
Yeah, it was Zaos that died. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't get into names. It was 3 players that had their characters die. It was Sun.
So our local warlock?
Yeah, it was Sun. It was Joe, our current monk, and it was Oh, it was Raptor, the player that currently isn't here, unfortunately. Such
Ah,
a fun player.
yes. Yes, yes.
Too bad about him. He got possessed by the devil, essentially. Well, not the devil, a horrible, evil sea ghost, but still close enough.
Which is also called work in real life.
Oh, really? I never knew about that. Where'd you hear that?
Well, I work.
Oh, interesting.
And speaking of the devil, should we talk about your very peculiar warlock?
Yes, the biggest one that was probably really easily noticeable is the fact that the Eldritch Blast does 2d6. You know, how dare I make Eldritch Blast more powerful than the heavy crossbow? You know?
The heavy cross was a D12, but still.
No, it's a d10, man. We make it that. We make the crossbows better because they're mediocre at best without the feet, and with the feet, they're just okay enough, I guess.
I
Like,
know.
like comparatively speaking to bows, they're basically just flavor, and that's it. They're not really, mechanically speaking, worth anyone's time, especially the hand crossbow. Why? Just why?
Because you can use it as a bonus action with the feet.
Oh, so useful. Well, you know, I'm being a dick here. It is useful as a bonus action, but without it, without the feat on its own, it's fucking useless. Now, mind you, there's worse things like the whip or what have you.
Conceal the weapon, technically, but that's about it.
I don't think it has that, but even so, it doesn't really matter that much for us. I'm certain there are campaigns where concealed weapons are big, and everybody needs to be sneaky stealthy.
Yes,
But
yes.
the other big one that I should say is the weapons. The fact that some people have +1 weapons, namely the monk and the barbarian. Now, that's something I don't usually do, and I think I shouldn't have for this one. But the reason for it, I'm pretty sure, is the fact that our previous campaign, they had to swap characters at level fucking 20. Well, not swap, they died. You get my point. They had to make fucking level 20 characters, so they were still in the mindset of a bit too much of a backstory, and I was a bit too nice to them. That is a thing I am sometimes. A bit too nice, I'll admit that. Yeah, shocker, right? The guy who gives people fucking plus, like, 20 and over stats is sometimes too nice. Who would have thunk?
Regardless, going back to the original topic. So, the original concept of a warlock is on itself interesting by lore.
Oof.
Idiot.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's not so different to a sorcerer.
Except
honestly.
in the fact that it's worse.
Yeah, because every time you need to take a short rest to regain spell slots.
Yeah, your non-existent spell slots.
So regardless, how about take the concept of fucking warlock?
And up it to extreme, where all of your magic is not your magic. Like, I made my best to make it feel like it's not regular magic, through a bunch of different ways. For starters, the fact that your spell slots are not monolithic things that you just gain on rests. Or through features, what have you. It's, you literally can use other spells with some risk to regain spell slots. And that's the big thing about my warlocks. They're a very high risk, very high reward type class, where you can have chains of spells. Chains of spells, yes, designed to interact with each other, that lead you to constant damage, constant gaining of spells and spell slots. Or you can have one spell go not quite your way, and there go all of your slots. Oh, that combo that you prep, gone. Is it useless? Like, is your combo turned useless? No, you dealt a ton of damage, or you locked a bunch of enemies, but you are out of spell slots until the next day, essentially, where you regain very few. And you have a max amount of spell slots, I should add that as well. You do have a max. Like, you can't just build spell slots up to infinity. And if you gain your max spell slots and you don't use them till the next day, sucks to be you. They reset to that same starting number every day.
And the fact that some quote-unquote spells that you're provided by your patron, matron, or whatever, can they literally say in the description how you could synergize them?
Yes, others aren't specifically said in the description that they synergize with XYZ spell, but through their properties they do.
Yep. It's bound to creativity at the end, honestly. Deep concentrated on the game, aren't you?
Very. I just had nothing to say though. You kind of covered it pretty well. Alright. Another thing that we should talk about is our monk. Because he is not a regular monk, or I should say he is not a regular Kensei monk.
Oh, you can't say. What is it about? Oh!
Ah, that was a real groaner. I'm proud of you.
Uh, it doesn't matter. So, yeah. The bread and butter of actually DMing, which is not having to follow by the letter every single thing in the game.
Well, yeah, Wizards is known to do some questionable things. Let's talk about Mystic, right?
Let's talk about Artificer.
Yeah, and how that just trivializes a lot of things and breaks a lot of campaigns story-wise. Like, goodness gracious, you could have a party made out of exclusively artificers and you wouldn't be at any disadvantage. In fact, you'd be at an advantage over most parties.
Well, probably out of the few 20 people that are gonna watch this. So, and if you know about it, just stop it with your boner of Artificer. I can literally say why an inventor needs to be a class when you could just do it yourself. You have lots of artisan tools that will allow you to do that, and spells.
Oh, going besides that, I can tell you full well why. Because it's fun to have the craftsman class, you know, like you're the smart guy of the party essentially. That's the hopes of it. And yeah, you can say, well, what about wizard? Oh shit! Speaking of the smart guy of the party, we forgot the fact that we changed Warlock to Intelligence as it was in test material for 5e, but you know that's just a small little extra thing.
Just a quick, honestly, I have to say, quick and simple. You are smart to know what the deal with a patron matron is about instead of you.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Let's not go over too much with that. Shush. Anyway, to go over that. People love Artificer because it's the smart character, the smart class, if you will. And yeah, I totally understand that, but to me, the idea of allowing a player to just make magical items on a whim, with very small limitations, honestly speaking, is kind of bad from a narrative point of view. Because I'm like, okay, so why are you an adventurer? Why not just make the items, right? Like, if you can do that.
Now you're going into those technicalities.
I mean, you can see those technicalities in the first ed of D&D. Gary Gygax said it himself. No noble players, because what the fuck is the point of you being an adventurer if you're already filthy rich?
But the background is already there about you being a noble.
Well, yeah, in 5 ed. Not in first ed. It's there. It's not there for a very important reason, because first ed was a far more numbers game, and the idea of the adventurer was there because the people wanted to earn money.
I suppose.
You weren't some, you know, plebeian that had no money to, you know, eat or anything, right? But you were a certain middle class, and you wanted to become an aristocrat. That's why you went adventuring. You took that risk.
I see. Anyway. So, what we're gonna talk before we went on this one?
The monk. Specifically, what is different about our Kensei over regular Kensei?
I don't remember.
Why don't you pull it up then?
Because it takes effort.
Like, personally, that's one thing that I absolutely do not mind sharing with the wider internet. Because regular Kensei is trash. Yeah, no, it's trash. It's not just boring, it's trash. Why would I fucking play some dude that can, I don't know, write pretty, and apparently use 2 weapons? Oh my goodness. Well, I should say that knows how to use 2 extra weapons, right? Not 2 at the same time, because they don't even fucking give you that. They don't even have the decency for that. When I could just play a dude that could obliterate someone immediately with, like, a touch. Open hand, anyone?
Okay, so what, you want me to read them one by one or what?
Yeah.
Okay, when you choose this tradition at third level, your special martial arts training leads you to master the use of all weapons.
That means all weapons. You're proficient in anything. I don't care if you haven't seen it before. I don't care what the fuck's going on. You are proficient in it. Period.
You sniff it and you know what it is about. That's it.
Yes. You are part of the weapon. The weapon likes you, and it gives you proficiency. However that works. I don't know. You have a living weapon. Animated swords, anyone?
Angel Parry, same as third level. You can spend your reaction to increase your AC by your proficiency modifier.
Pretty self-explanatory. Parry is already a thing in the game.
And Way of the Brush, you gain proficiency with calligrapher's supplies and painter's supplies.
This was already a thing for Kensei. I thought that it's a fun little bit of flavor, but not an actually useful enough feature to exist on its own.
I mean, as if you technically want to play a proper samurai or something.
Sort of, but you have actual samurai.
Yeah, I know you have fighter samurai, but it's just like another kind of samurai.
I know, right?
You have options. Hey, one with a blade at 6th level, you extend your key into your Tensei weapon, granting you the following benefits. You can apply your wisdom, strength, and dex modifier if you so choose to any weapon you are wielding.
Now that is the overpowered part, alongside the next feature. But the reason I feel like it's not that special in terms of like we can allow it without it just completely breaking the game is because you kind of require to have all of those stats pumped up to really benefit hardcore out of it. And you either need a bunch of magical items for that, which, you know, that's up to the DM to give or not. Or you need to spend pretty much all of your resources on getting good stats. Now, admittedly, if you get really lucky and you're rolling for stats, you can have a bunch of 18s or some shit like that, and there you go, you won, right? With
Is
that,
it 16 then max?
well, yes, you get my point, right? You have some, stat increases along with the levels by the time you get there, right?
Yeah. Sharpen the blade. At 11th level, your mastery with weapons extends to their fabrication and maintenance. You gain expertise in smith's tools, and you can grant any weapon you work with on nearing sharpness, allowing it to slice through hordes of enemies with ease. Any such blade can attack up to 3 enemies, assuming the enemy are within 5 feet of each other and within the range of the weapon.
Now, D&D already has rules for that, for you hitting multiple enemies. The way that works is that you lose damage as you go forward. Like, let's say you have 3 enemies with 5 health and you deal 20 damage. Well, the first one takes 5, and your next hit is 15, but he only has 5, and the next hit is 10, and he only has 5, the next hit is 5, but you're out of enemies. With mine, you just deal 20 damage wholesale to all 3. So, ultimately, does that make a difference? No, not in that scenario. But there will be plenty of scenarios where it will absolutely make a difference, and it will save your ass as a monk.
And Deadly Precision. At 17th level, your mastery of the blade is legendary. You can treat any attack roll under a 12 as a 12, including critical failures. Furthermore, you can spend key points to increase your critical range for 1 minute at a 1-to-1 ratio, up to a maximum of 3.
Now, this is really powerful, right? But the reason I decided to do that is because almost all class features at high levels are just so lame. Like, seriously, we get to near max level, we do something nearly impossible in most campaigns, right? Only to get, like, what? Some very mediocre feature that we would have been better off just not bothering with and multi-classing into something to get some retarded combo going.
I mean, yeah.
No, I am not shooting you. I know what will happen if I shoot you. I do not want to kill myself.
Is there anything else that needs to be discussed?
I guess going over a small thing, which is the fact that we use the flat score of your spellcasting modifier for your save. Now, this was done for two reasons. Because, first off, not because I feel like the normal one is just too weak, though sometimes it does feel very unsatisfying. But mostly because in our campaign, we kinda don't really need to have the enemies constantly pass saves. Like, narratively speaking, it slows things down more than it needs to, and from a difficulty standpoint, they usually have the health, the damage, etc. to tank it out. So it kind of gives the players a nice, satisfactory sentiment that they hit with their spells as often as they can, or that they have fun. Now, mind you, whenever I get a player that's gonna say, "Oh, I polymorphed the enemy into a chicken," right?
Oh
Now,
yeah.
of course, that's always a thing, right? But usually speaking, if they polymorph an enemy into a chicken, it was either already an enemy that was kind of defeatable, fairly easily defeatable, or it's an enemy that can't be polymorphed into a chicken for whatever reason. Maybe they have a bunch of legendary resistances and they'll resist it for a while. You know, the combat will go, they'll run out of spell slots or health. That's another thing. I kind of make monsters really focus the players that actually do anything. I don't make the enemy focus the barbarian because he's there. I make the enemy focus the wizard because he's casting spells.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't do that with the gelatinous cubes for two reasons. One, they're extremely stupid. They're just a fucking cube of jelly, right? And two, if I did that, well, I would have just been a dick. What the fuck could you have done?
um. Fart.
I fart inside the gelatinous cube.
Yeah, it creates horrible vibrations and it melts or something.
Congratulations, you are a level 20 open hand monk now.
What the fuck?
The deathly vibrations.
Open hand, like open anus.
Oh god, no. Boop. Yeah, I think that's about it. So our cleric is a standard grave cleric, nothing special about her. Our wizard will be druid will be a wildfire druid, nothing special, and our wizard is a lore mastery wizard, as you see them there, nothing special again.
Yeah, that's for now. Gameplay, Ring Runner, Flight of the Sages, very good.
Seriously.
Ring Runner, A Derelict Dream, available on Amazon. I'm not sponsored.
For real, guys. You can check whatever the fuck you want. We don't get money from these guys. They don't have any money to give us. Yeah, they're fucking poor. They are fucking poor. I feel bad for them. I feel bad for them and I just like their game. That's it. Check it out. I don't know. Don't buy it if you don't like it. Say hi to them. It doesn't matter that much. And that's it.